All right, we in the building for episode 4 of the Sam I Am Viral podcast. Very happy to be with you guys, all my listeners on, excuse me, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all the online outlets, as well as all my channel members here on Viral Hip Hop News' YouTube page. Definitely appreciate y'all. I got a special guest in the building. It's my brother, man. We got Jamal Dennis on the platform. Now, if you haven't seen the movie Where Loyalty Lies, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Go check that out right now, or after this podcast, make sure you go check that out on Tubi and Roku TV. But I'm alongside with this brother right here, man. We did our thing on that film, man. It was definitely an honor and a privilege to do that with you. And we'll get into that, but we're gonna get into much more before that. But before we do, brother, how you feeling, man? Good to see you, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome, man. I'm
Yeah.
doing great. Keeping my head down, working and trying to do the damn thing. And trying to be like you, bro.
Shoot, man. We doing the same thing. We trying to get it. You feel me?
Word.
You out here
Absolutely.
killing it.
Man, I appreciate you, bro. I'm trying, man. It's definitely not it. Acting is not for the fucking weak. It's not for the weak. I'm realizing that every single day throughout this journey, man. But I realize that I'm doing the right thing with my life. I'm in the right space. I'm in the right place. And even though it may not give me the results I yearn for on the daily, I know overall I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, man. So this platform, I kind of created this to kind of talk about the journey. You know what I mean? We all have journeys and walks through life, whatever they may be, whether you're trying to get a new job, you're trying to lose weight,
Mhm.
you're trying to be a teacher, you're trying to be an actor, you're trying to be a singer, whatever your journey is. We like to get on here and talk about the trials and tribulations of our journey, trying to motivate you to not stop doing what you're doing. Never stop
Mhm.
pursuing your dream, never stop pursuing your goal, even though the roadblocks and the trials and tribulations that will be there
Mhm. Mhm.
will be there, and it is what it is. So I want to kind of hear your journey right now, man, and listen to your story. I know that the people will be excited to hear your story. So I was looking through your IMDb, man. I was kind of, stalking you a little bit, and I seen that you did, or according to IMDb, you had your first credit in 2012. So talk about your journey through acting. When you realized you wanted to even get into acting, how was the book kind of bug bit you to get into it? Talk about your path in finding that acting was something that you wanted to do.
Okay. Yeah. So my first credit, it should have said 2005 on there.
Wow.
Yeah, should have. Glory Road was my first film, first job off stage, and that I was in college at Southern University. Jags, SU Jags. So one of my cousins she was in film school, and she said, "Yo, you should really think about acting, doing it full time." And so they were doing a short film. I auditioned for it, worked. I was in summer school, and I would drive from Baton Rouge to New Orleans for like a week straight or 2 weeks every day to film, and I loved it. You do theater here and there. You think, okay, this is fun, but you don't
Yeah.
think it's a real career. So, I honestly, after that, I just read some books on getting in film, and I started doing background, and I called the background the casting people so much they they got me like a standing role on Glory Road, standing job, which you just when you're standing. For those who don't know, you're literally just standing there for the actors, for the crew and the DP and everybody to like you. So I did that the whole film, and it was a few of the actors. One day I missed one day out of a 3-4 month shoot, and all the guys were like, "Where were you, man? Like they needed people yesterday to act, and you weren't even here."
Ah,
The lead actors, because it's about a basketball team,
right.
um, the minors. So I was like, "Oh man!" So next day I go up to the director. It's just him and I. It just so happened we're shooting in the Saint Bernard project, and we're in the kitchen, just him and I, and you know, guy was like asking. So I said, "Yo, y'all got any more roles?" He said, "You an actor?" I said, "Yeah." You think I'm just sitting here for nothing? You
Right.
know what I mean? So he literally was looking at a script and he said, "Here, read this." Right there, as soon as I asked.
Mm,
That's like that lesson of always being ready, being prepared.
yeah.
And you ask for something, you just might get it right then and there.
Yeah.
And I read it. He had me read two different little two roles, and that was it. He was like, "Okay, cool." Later that evening, I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear nothing. Later that evening, he had us go out, and 5 of us audition. But again, how the Lord works is, bro, like I was the second AD said, "Yo, we need you to be an extra in this basketball scene." And he said, "So dress out." I'm like, "Oh, I'm waiting here from James. He told me he was gonna let me know about this role." He's
Right.
like, "I don't care. I need you. I need you." So I get out there and he's like, "Yo, you already dressed up, and this the role I had you read for." So we read, 5 of us read, and I get the role. So that was like my first one, and I was hooked. That was it, man.
So after that you get your first role, Glory Road. That was a huge movie when it came out. I definitely remember that film when it first came out, and you found success early on. Did you assume or did you think that it would be this easy? Like, what was the next steps after this? Because I remember my next steps, and we'll talk about that. You definitely had something to do with that. But what were your next steps after? Okay, that film is complete. You got your feet wet. You realize this is something you wanted to do. What were your next steps after that?
Of course, we all kind of assume, all right, this is a sign. I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fairly easy, and I hoped it would. But like the next day, I went back to being a stand-in. Like I was like, all right, well, I still got like 2 more months on this film, so I'm gonna work. And I just networked, and I then looked for an agent because at that point, at least I had something. I had some traction.
Right.
And so I got an agent. I was in New Orleans still, so I got an agent there. And shortly after, maybe like 2 to 3, no, I started doing theater. So I started doing more community theater. And then I got an agent and I did, I booked a couple more roles. So, you're thinking, oh, shoot, oh, man, this is it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It. I'm on, right? And yeah, man. Then I maybe about 2 years later, I moved to LA. I came out and visited for about 2 weeks. Felt like I was at home. Felt right. And I then, kept working, kept booking jobs out there, and then came here. And you're like, oh shoot, it's hard.
Mhm.
It ain't easy, right?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But that made me elevate my game moving out here. That's what really made me step it up.
LA is one of those places. It'll turn you into a butterfly or to eat your ass alive. I lived in California for a while, in pursuit of the dream of music back in 2011, 2012 when I originally went out there. And I'm from New Jersey. I had a son at the time. He was 2. I moved out to California thinking I'm about to pursue these big old dreams. I've been in the Bay Area and things before, but I never been like Southern Cal, Hollywood, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
LA, various things. And it was not what I expected. And I was one of those people that chewed up and spit out. So I want to ask you, when you moved from New Orleans to LA, you said you felt like home originally. Talk about how, or talk to people about like the dangers of necessarily moving to LA to try to pursue a dream. Because if you aren't mindful of what you're about to get into, it could definitely put you in a space and get you and put you in a place where it's very difficult to get out of. So talk about
Mm-hmm.
some of the things you dealt with on the good side and the bad side with moving to California and pursuing your acting out in LA.
Let's start with the bad side. Uh, you got to watch out for like people trying to get over on you, which is in any big city, but
Yeah.
meaning like from acting classes that aren't that great, from agents and managers that are trying to tell people, oh, you got to pay me for me to sign you, when you don't pay an agent or manager until you get booked.
Yeah.
And then you have some agents and managers wanting to take a larger percentage than normal. Usually, if you're in SAG and the union, it's 10%. If you're non-union, I think it's 15.
Mm.
Sometimes they may try to take 20, 25, 30.
Mm.
You don't know. You're like, oh, good, I got an agent.
Yeah.
And they may get you booked, but they're taking 30% of your money on top of taxes.
Mm.
And don't talk about if you have an agent and a manager.
That's 2 separate fees. Yeah.
Right. So that's a tough part. Survival out here.
Ain't
you
that the
know,
truth, Doug? Woo. Shit.
that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Like just survival jobs that keep you flexible enough to where you can audition and work, but you can still live. Because it's tough when you have a corporate job or a career job, a career, and you're out here and you get a job or you get an audition and you're stuck in the office.
Yeah.
Do it. Then you realize I'm living in LA for nothing. I'm paying this high rent for nothing, right? What's the point?
Yeah.
So that's a tough part. That's a really tough part about it. Mainly like just, and then I think going too hard, too fast, overdoing it, because you can go broke that way, paying for a bunch of classes. You know what I mean? If you're in a relationship, if you're in class, training every day, you're going to the gym, you're studying, you're going to regular class to work, your relationship will suffer,
Yeah.
right? And then dating another actor, you feel me? Like it don't matter if you dating another a female or you still, it's weird because it's still some competition. Even if
Mm.
your girl is an actress and she's like, sometimes you may book something and she may get upset and vice versa.
Yeah.
You may feel like, dang, why I'm not booking? I've seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced it, but I've seen it. I've heard about it. Yeah. But the good side of it is this place is, as much as you put in, that's what you get out.
Yeah.
If you put the work in and you find the right people, because it's hard to find the right people here.
Yeah.
Because it's LA, it's land of the pretenders. So
Yeah.
a lot of people come here thinking they're trying to live like they think they're supposed to be. You know, because a lot of the people from LA are cool.
Right.
So people get that messed up. They think, oh, LA is a bunch of fake people. It's not the people from here.
Right.
It's the people who come in,
Fact.
move here. Uh, so it's just making sure that you find your tribe, find your core group of people. You don't overdo it with the partying, because that's easy to do, because it used to be go out and network. You got to go out to network. You got to hit the streets.
Yeah.
Then you're not training, you're not studying, you're not practicing. So, but it's easy to find the best classes. You can get some of the best training. You can get some of the best agents, and you can meet a big agent or manager at Trader Joe's randomly.
Mm.
So it's good to be here because you have access to things that you don't have in some other places.
That's a fact. I remember my time in LA. I think the biggest struggle for me is my mental. I mentally was not in a place to be able to deal with some of the trials that I was dealing with and not be able to slow things down enough to go, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I was all the way at step 10 because my goal was to take care of my son. And I was trying to skip a bunch of steps in a foreign place. And mentally, I just wasn't there. And you got to be in the right space. And that goes for anywhere, whether it's LA or anytime you move outside of your nest and outside of your comfort zone. If you're not ready mentally, then you might have some real hard time dealing with whatever comes your way. You talked about the filler jobs, and that's so important because in acting, you're not going to make money all the time, right? Unless you Robert Downey Jr. or one of these A-list actors that's getting 60, 70 million to film. More than likely, you're going to have something to fill that time in between roles, in between auditions, things like that. So talk about some of the filler jobs you had and how you balanced the balance between having to provide and take care of yourself and take care of your family, but at the same time pursue this goal and this dream and pursue why you even out there to begin with in acting. Like, talk about that balance.
All right. So when I moved out here, while I was in college, I was in barber school.
Okay, word.
So got that cert under my belt, and I moved out here, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get a regular job first, so I don't because cutting hair take all your time.
Yeah.
Shoot, I got a job as a courier when they used to have to deliver scripts to the studios, so I could get on the studio lot.
Yeah, smart.
That, yeah, I'm like, if I can do that, I can get into big agencies, I can get on the studio lots, I can talk to who I need to talk to. So I did that for about the first 6 months of me being here. It paid okay. It helped me learn the city because when I moved here in 2005, so it was barely any GPS going on. You had to have this thing called the Thomas Guide. It was like this big.
Damn.
And it was like a phone book for those who remember what that is. And you literally had to figure out where you were going. So I did that, and that's how honestly I get on Universal's lot, and when they were casting for something, even if I didn't have a delivery, I was on that lot, and I went to meet those casting directors. So that's how I played it. There's a couple agencies like ICM when they were open. CAA, I done got in there, and I just bring my headshot and throw it on the agent desk if they're not in there. I was wild with it though. I didn't care. I
Right.
was bold. I'm like, what you gonna do? You gonna beat me up? You know what
Right.
I mean? The most y'all can do is kick me out. You
Word.
feel me? I take that. I mean, at least I tried. You feel me? So I did that, and then I started cutting hair. I was cutting hair at uh, Legends Barbershop. And honestly, that's where I met a lot of people, and that's what helped me. That was my survival job. Um, at one point, I did the restaurant thing. Wasn't for me. I did that right before I started at the shop. Dude, I did that for like 2 months, and I spilled water in somebody's lap.
That shit'll humble you quick, boy. Yeah, people think that shit is easy. It is not
It's not.
at
It's
all.
hell no. And I don't drink, so they were like ordering wines. I'm getting the wine orders wrong because I don't. It was bad. So I was like, I'm gonna just cut here.
Word.
You know what I mean? So I did that for a long time, and then I started personal training. But that was my survival jobs. That kept me afloat, and I met a lot of people that way. It was a blessing.
Now, when you moved to Cali, where did you live? If you don't mind me asking, were you in? Because I remember when I first moved out there, I was in Northridge. I was in the Valley, and like I said, I was familiar with like Northern California. I've been to the Bay a million times. I got family out in Oakland, Frisco, out in that way, but that's 8 hours away from LA. I had no fucking idea what LA was, so I'm out here pursuing and looking for jobs in West Hollywood and various places, and I'm 40 minutes down the goddamn 405, not realizing how far I was from the actual action, and that kind of messed me up too because it's a foreign place. I don't really know where I'm at. I ain't got much money, and I'm 40 minutes away from all the action. All I was
Yeah.
looking at in Norfolk was pornos. You know what I'm saying? So, where where did you live, right? And how did that commute help you? Because Cali is a wild place, boy. Woo.
Yeah. The Valley is home of the porno industry.
Yeah, it was plenty of pornos going on, boy. Shit.
Real. Wow. So I moved. I was in Santa Monica for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was right by the beach. That was cool.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then I moved downtown for a while. I was downtown for a few years, and I liked it. It was nice. I mean, it was it wasn't. I ain't say nice. My place was nice.
Right.
Yeah, because downtown LA now is not what it was when I lived down there.
That's a fact, bro. It look
It was
crazy out there now.
Yeah, and they got gangs down there too. So it was you had to pay attention.
Yeah.
But then I moved. Once I moved to the Valley, I was in like pretty much North Hollywood area. Then I went to Van Nuys for a while. All those areas, those are. I like the Valley better. It's a little more chill. It's not as crazy.
For sure.
But yeah.
I definitely spent time in Northridge, Van Nuys, Sherman Oaks. What's that? Was it Buena Vista? Not Buena Vista.
Oh, Buena Vista.
Buena Vista. Yeah. It definitely a more chill spot than all the hustle and bustle. But I had no idea what I was doing or where I was at, man. It was, California was the time, man. I give it to you. You said you back out there because I know you was kind of going back and forth the last year or so. So you back out there now?
Yeah, I'm here right now. So out here working. But
Word.
it's a back and forth thing. So I'm bi-coastal.
Word. Now, also for the people who don't know, I know personally you are also a father, right? And salute to all the fathers out there doing their thing, man. Dad gang in the building. How was that kind of hustle or managing being a father and being a provider while also trying to pursue your dream in acting, while also trying to pay bills and make a way for yourself as well? How did you balance all of that?
Stressful. Like it's tough, but the blessing is I was a really good barber, and the shop I was in, Legends, which was one of the first kind of high end barbershops, right? So we had high end clientele up in there. So I was doing a lot of house calls back then. And this is in I started, I think, there in 2007. So up to I was doing the ESPYs coming in town. I'm cutting ball players' heads and stuff like that. So that helped me out a lot. You know what I mean? And then our prices were pretty up there compared to everybody else. So I was doing all right. It's just I did have to put a lot more time in the shop. So when you do that, your acting kind of falls by the wayside. But you got to do what you got to do. When you got to pay bills, you got to pay stuff for your kids and stuff like that. So what I mean, my oldest daughter tell you, she's spent many days in that barbershop sitting there in front of my chair waiting on me and stuff like that. But, Yeah, man. So it was that's how I did it mostly. Just the grind, just get it, no sleep, sleeping. I got used to sleeping 4 hours,
Yeah,
and just getting after it. This is a place where it's either you grind or you sleep. You can't do both.
yeah,
You get some sleep to where you don't get sick, but you got to put the work in.
yeah. Because you got and anybody who doesn't live in LA is out there for the same reason you are.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to outwork them. You know what I mean? And it's not always easy. And sometimes you need a little divine intervention. Sometimes you need some flat out fucking luck. But you got to keep working. I definitely, and that's in this industry in general. It don't matter if you living in Cali, you living in Jersey, you living in New Orleans, you living in Ohio. If you ain't grinding in this shit, people will pass you by, man.
Hmm.
Now, for me, when I first started doing like real serious work, I was fortunate enough to have people like Ali and people like you, which Ali introduced us, to kind of put their arm around me and show me the ropes a little bit, show me how to kind of prepare for a script, how to break down and memorize a script, how to move on set, how to proper set etiquette and things like that. You are such a blessing to me in my first film to kind of show me the ropes. Who showed you the ropes? Did you have anybody there to kind of give you the game and help you along the way throughout your journey?
Man, my acting coaches. You know what I mean? I had a couple friends. My boy Demetrius Gross, he's an amazing actor.
Nice.
My boy Ray Dennis, another amazing actor, theatrical actors. But like, Demetrius came out of Carnegie Mellon, so I would go to him when I was in certain I had certain auditions. He would help me out. Still to this day, we help each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that acting coaches, um, Leslie Kahn, Leslie Kahn changed the game for me. Craig Archibald changed the game for me. You feel me? Ryder, like Leslie Kahn taught me how to really put the work in, how to really like just do like we used to have to rehearse with each other, our classmates, 4 hours a day,
Yeah.
every day. She's like 4 hours, then you have to rehearse on your own. She taught me how to like look at a script and or look at a scene and be able to break it down in 2 minutes, literally. And then Craig Archibald, he taught me the emotional side, taught me vulnerability, taught me like how to he taught me how to do character work. You know what I mean? Like Leslie tell you, look, you learn all that, and come to me, I'm gonna teach you how to book. But I was missing the vulnerability. One of my old managers, she was like, yo, you need to be a little more vulnerable. You're like a rock. You're like a
Mm.
rock. It seems like a rock. She's like, they want to know. I'm like, I am being vulnerable. I thought I was.
Yeah.
And Craig, first day of class with him, he he was like, this is the reason why you're not working as much as you should be.
Mm.
He was like, you gotta work on your vulnerability. And that helped me, that opened up doors, you know.
How'd you work on your vulnerability? What things did you have to do to kind of break your way out of that?
He just gave me like daily exercises, like just literally going through old stuff, childhood things that like you don't realize how much you you block out of your memory.
Yeah.
You feel me? So he's like, yo, pick an emotion and sit in it for 15 minutes a day. Whether it's jealousy, whether it's pain, fear. He was like, you got to be able to access those emotions. He was like, he said, I see you can access anger easy and you can access comedy easy. It's like, but the in between ain't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he helped me with that, doing like the summer programs at RADA, Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in the UK. They helped because he studied there. So it was just stuff that he taught me. But that learning how to really access all those emotions is what will help me. And like I had a coach, Kathleen Adams, also who she's amazing. She trains Zoe Saldana. That's who she helped Zoe get Avatar.
Nice.
Right? She a beast. She a freaking beast. Like those are that's like my Mount Rushmore of acting coaches. Those three coaches. And Kathleen again, she helped me go deep, really deep too, because she's like, look, you got to know what you're feeling. She's like, you don't always know what you're feeling. You're used to covering it up with a joke.
Yeah.
called me out on it, and we been on the stage in front of other actors.
Right.
Like, yo, you gotta work on it. So that's the stuff that I needed to work on. Everybody's different, but like the good thing is about training with other actors, especially working with Leslie Kahn so long. She makes us rehearse with each other, and coach each other.
Yeah.
So you learn how to help other actors, and you because you can see what you're doing wrong. You see what they're doing like this. It's like, oh, I can help you a little bit better. You do this. That's so a lot of students from her school become directors.
That's important. That I want to kind of expound on that a little bit. You talked about because especially nowadays you have auditions, they're via self-tape. You know what I mean? You don't have to be around too many people. You can create your own set and do your thing until you actually get on set. But how important is it to kind of hone in your craft around other actors and sharpen your tools around other actors? Like, how important is that to your acting career, in your opinion?
I feel like with other actors, it's about 60%. It's about 60%. This is outside of having a coach.
Yeah.
Yourself. The rest is you. It's probably other actors. Yeah, it's about. I'm gonna say other actors maybe 40% and 60% you.
Yeah.
Because you got to put the work in. You got to do those exercises that your coach gives you. But having other actors call you out on it is a big deal. Being able to, because you can't see everything you're doing unless you're taping yourself and you're looking at it. But other actors giving you suggestions that you don't think about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I never thought of that. Like I had an audition a couple weeks ago. One of my homegirls, her name's Steph Rosen. She freaking gave me a suggestion. I was like, I just need you to help me. Like, I was going into a live audition. I'm like, just tell me what you think. And she was like, try this one part at this line instead of that line. I was like a cycling instructor. And she was like, don't stand up and say the line until the very, very last word. And it made the audition pop, boom. And I went in, the casting director, she was like, that was perfect. She said, I have no notes. That's the one take. I said,
Wow.
That was it, So that it is very important to have your people. Because, too, you need people to help self-tape with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I would say never go into an office, never send a tape without having other eyes on it, other actors that you trust. You know what I mean? Not just somebody that, your sister, your cousin, your girl, your guy, whatever, could have some insight, even if they're not in the industry. They
Right.
could, but another actor can give you that little bit, that little tweak.
Yeah, and I'm gonna publicly thank you again because you've given me a lot of great tweaks, and it's crazy because anytime I reach out to you for assistance, it seems like I get that fucking role. And when it comes to think about it, I ain't reached out to you in a few weeks, and I ain't got a role in a few weeks either. So, nigga, I'm about to be hitting your ass. I'm sitting there like, I ain't hit fucking Jamal in a minute. I did like 12 auditions. I ain't got none of these motherfuckers.
I always tell you, like, hit me up.
You do. You know what's crazy? And I know you mean that shit. And I know you busy. I know you got a ton of things going on, and I'm proud of you, and I'm happy for you as a bro. I'm happy for you. But I know you genuine in that. And it's so hard for me to kind of, I always feel like a bother. And that not just to you. Like, I'm always kind of like, I don't want to, I know people are busy doing their thing. I don't want to bother them. And then I talked about it publicly. You get mad sometimes when I don't hit you up. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you for that, bro, because that helped. First off, you don't have to do that. We did a movie together, you know what I'm saying, a year or so ago in Houston. It's doing great. You don't have to be that gracious, but you know what I'm saying? You definitely were a man of your word, and I appreciate you for that, bro, sincerely.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about the audition process real quick because audition are filled with rejection. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this, or we kind of laughed about it early on in the show when we talked about acting is not for the fucking weak. It's not for the weak. And one of the things that when I say that pops out to me clearly is the audition process. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not used to rejection, your acting career may not go anywhere because a lot of it is being able to deal in being able to accept not getting a role. How did you deal with that? How did you deal with the rejection side of thinking that you may have killed an audition, thinking that was the one, and then you end up not getting it, and you had to kind of dust yourself off and get back up and get another one? How were you able to deal with the rejection? How were you able to kind of understand the game when it comes to auditioning?
I think all of us go through this. I had to learn to deal with it, because you're thinking, damn, I did good. Why did I not hear anything back?
Yeah.
I killed it, or I possibly did. But then I started saying, all right, well, it's in God's hands, clearly, right? If it's for me, and if I did everything possible to book this job and I didn't get it, I did what I could do. I had to let it go.
Yeah.
Some big roles, some big films and TV shows that I didn't get, and I'm like, yo, I know I did good, but it was at one time I used to look up the other actors when the show came out. Let me see who booked this. Let me see who
Who the
got
fuck got this shit over me,
who
man?
got this, right? So, but I had to learn. It could be anything. My voice could be too deep. I could be too tall. The director's nephew could have just got it because of that, just because of nepotism. I had to learn that. And I also said, all right, if I didn't get it, let me figure out what else I could have done to have made that audition better. So I trained harder. Like if I booked something, if I didn't book something and I know I was perfect for it, because some roles you're not perfect for.
Yeah.
Right? Your agent gets it for you or your manager gets it, and you're like, damn, okay, let's see what happens.
Word.
Right? Not much of me, but some of them, yo, this is me. But also, when I knew that, what also helps me is when I read for a casting director and I don't get a role, but they call me back for something else. I know I booked the room, and that's what all my coaches say. You book the room. It's not about the first audition you have for them. Let them know what you can do. And that happened to me for Hawaii 5-0. That's when I learned, because I read for a co-star, which is like a couple lines.
Right.
And to those who don't know, I read for it, didn't hear nothing. Like I thought I did good.
Yeah.
Right? Because it does mess with your confidence.
For sure.
So you got to know that you did everything right. You hit the beats, you hit everything. And the next week, this casting director called me in for a guest star, which is, for those who don't know, is a full episode. You're in the full episode. And then maybe 2 to 4 weeks later, she called me in for another a feature. And I realized, oh, all right, I just wasn't right. And I looked at the roles I didn't get. The guys look totally different from me. Honestly, it's not been a role that I've missed out on, that I felt I was perfect for, that the guy just didn't look. We looked totally different, sounded different vibes, everything.
So they had a totally different view on that character, completely separate than in the beginning anyway.
Yeah, because a lot of times they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Because you got to think too, you up against another actor, and they may one I lost on. It was a guest star. The casting director told my agent, they were like, he was perfect, he killed it, but he was too big. It was like the guy. He was like, at the time I was like 210, so I looked like a linebacker. They wanted a basketball player.
Gotcha.
And they were like, he was going to swallow this guy up on. The guy I was playing opposite of was like, I think he was like 5'8". Ooh. I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
You know, I was 210. He was like I don't know, maybe 160.
Yeah, he's swallowing his ass up.
Yeah. And they were like, on screen, it was going to be, and we're supposed to be best friends.
Right.
So stuff like that happens. You usually don't get that type of feedback, but the casting director was nice enough to tell my agent that.
Give for the people, and don't give up all your tricks and your tips, but talk about your process. Your agent, or you come across an audition, you got the sides, you look over the sides. Let's say that you get them today, they do on Friday. You got 3 days to submit this audition. What are your what's your steps and your process to get ready for that role and audition for that role off book?
I see who's producing who's the exec, if it's TV, who's the EP, the executive producer, who's the director, who's casting. Then I go and see the type of films and shows that they work on, that they produce, direct, and I look for the tone. That helps a lot
Hmm.
because if it's NCIS versus The Wire,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally different tones.
Word.
So you can play a thug on NCIS, you're not really playing a thug, or or a henchman. If
Right.
you play one on The Wire, you really playing a, what I'm saying. For the most part, you playing that grimy, gritty. So that's something I do, and then I break the scene down. After I find that out, I I also read the scene about 5 times, as not as the character, because we all try to read the scene as this is how I'm gonna say it, this is what I'm gonna do. No, just read the scene and let the scene talk to you. Visualize the scene.
That's a gem right there. Write that down.
Yeah.
Write that one down.
Yeah. So that's the main thing, and then I break the scene down.
Dope. And I've been around a ton of actors. Been blessed to be a ton of actors these last couple of years, and I feel like my experience with you've done that better than anybody, and you've articulated that to where I understand it better than anybody. To where, like, okay, you want to break down these line by line. You want to find your beats. You want to find where the emotions change. You want to find where you need to shift, and you really hone in on those things. So talk about the discipline side of it, because I'm an avid football fan, and one of the things I love listening to is people going through the process. You got people that are one step away from the Hall of Fame, and they still continue to do the little things that they did when they first got into the league. And you are one of those people that no matter how many things you get or how many times you succeed, you still are so process oriented and making sure that the devil is in the details and you hit those details. So how important is that to you? Even now, as you pursue your journey and you getting higher and higher in that journey, how important is it to make sure that you still are deliberate in your preparation and your process?
That's, to me, the most important part of it, because I have notes from all my coaches, like the best notes, and I always refer to them, because even when you think I know this, you do, but it's always one thing you forget about.
Yeah.
One thing, like, oh shoot, you know what? I should have. I forgot to add this. I forgot to check this out. Because when you're training with a coach, especially like with Craig Archibald, I did a lot of private sessions with him. I still do. And so, like, with that, you have notes specifically for you. So I know, all right, when I get an audition, first thing I have to find was my vulnerability.
Mm.
Right? What's this? Well, not me, my character.
Yeah.
Not me. It's not about me at all. It's always about the character. It's about serving the story. So that's a big deal. I always look through my list, and I comb through it like forensic files. I'm talking about slow, super slow. Read after I read the scene 5 times. All right, now what's it telling me? What do I see? And I mean, each line by line, line by line, I got to see what's going on. Right? What's the other person saying to me? What's their subtext? What am I thinking after they speak? What do I feel? Right? That's the stuff that fills up your scene.
Yeah.
That's what fills it up. You can't just know the lines and say the lines. That's what we get mixed up.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's one of my biggest mistakes. Is one of my gifts are I memorize fast.
Mm-hmm.
I can get aside and I can look through it a few times and I got it. But that doesn't mean I'm that character yet. That just means I've memorized some lines. And I feel like sometimes, especially when you audition and it's new, it can come off as if you just, okay, this dude is talented. He's memorized a line, but he hasn't gotten into character yet. So how important is it to be patient also? Because obviously when you submit auditions, you have a deadline and you want to make sure that you get it in so that they got eyes on it sooner than later and things like that. But how important is it to make sure that you take your time and you submitted the right audition?
Oh, that's everything.
Yeah.
That's another one, because with repetition you get faster. So I can know, all right, you know, if it's this show, I know the tone of this show. Hopefully, if it's a show I watch, you know, because that's another thing. You gotta watch TV. You
Yeah.
don't have to watch a whole season of every show, but you should watch TV to know the tones of each show.
Yeah.
And so um, I'll make sure. All right, yeah, I know the tone now. Um, Now let me really like see what. Okay, this guy's a lawyer, right? Think about, you know, who do I know who's a lawyer? My brother-in-law's a lawyer. You know, how does he act when he gets in the case? What do they do? How do they, you know, how do they look at if the person a criminal, if it's not, you know, and that's another thing. You can't judge the character, and you really kind of can't judge the person in the scene with the other character unless you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff I like to really look at and say, all right, you know, this guy's a lawyer, this guy's a cop. I'm a cop. How long have I been a cop? All right, I've probably been, they don't say I'm a rookie, so backstory, I've been a cop for 10 years. I do this every freaking day. It's a routine traffic stop. I'm not that, hey, license and registration. I'm like, all right, give me the license and registration. I'm just gonna go home. You broke the law. Let me give you a ticket so you can go and I can go. I'm not putting too much on it. You want to make sure you're natural.
Yeah. And you know how I'm going to ask you this: how do you physically show? Because like you said, you've been a cop for a while now. You're not a rookie. You're not fresh in this. You've
Mm-hmm.
been in there for a while. How do you display that on camera? Like, how does that? Because I got an idea, but for the people that are listening and kind of aspiring to be actors and never auditioned before, like, how do you convey those type of things that are unspoken on camera to where somebody go, oh yeah, that he's been in there for a minute. It's something natural and it's something that people don't even realize, but it's so fucking important. So how do you make sure that you hone in on that, not only in your auditions, but when you book a role and you are actually that character?
I, First, I people watch a lot. I people watch a lot. So knowing your casting is big. I know my casting. I play military, always military. You know, I did it in our joint.
Yeah,
Ex cop, husband, boyfriend, athlete. Most of the time, that's my stuff,
yeah,
right? EI type stuff. So I always pay attention to those type of people. And if I don't, I watch YouTube. But usually, if I'm a cop and I've done this for a while, I know if it's a routine traffic stop. Yeah, I've done this for a while, but I always have my hand on my pistol just in case. You know, does this person have black tint when I pull up on them? If they do, I'm a little more alert.
mm,
If they don't, if it's NCIS and it's some girl that's freaking out and she probably has clear tint, so I'm not as stern, I'm not as on alert. So having your hand having your hand on your pistol as you walk up, right, and the the speed I walk up,
mm,
alertness, you know, and I'm gonna have my flashlight, you know, it's always so they can see inside the car. So just that, something as simple as that, it's like, okay, he has the mannerisms of a cop, right? And if I pull this person over for swerving, I may be, you know, okay, they're probably drunk. I'm looking different as opposed to somebody who was doing 150 and I pulled them over and they didn't pull over right away. I'm on alert.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now I'm like, all right, I might have to shoot this person. They may be on the run from robbery or whatever.
And you tap into those actual emotions at the moments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's,
You gotta have that planned out.
yeah,
What am I feeling? What am I thinking about myself? What's in my life that makes me that feeling,
yeah.
emotion?
Now you also are a stunt man. You're also a stunt coordinator, which is extremely dope and is a whole entire world within itself. Talk about how you got into stunt work.
Man, I was training kung fu in 2007, 6, 7, and my seafood he had a stunt team, and Eric Chin he had a stunt team, and one day I got to the school and they told me I wanted to learn Chinese weapons.
Hmm.
Swords, you know, we grew up watching Kung Fu Theater, Shaw Brothers, and Wu Tang, you know what I mean, all that stuff. So they told me, they said it takes 2 years to be able to do weapons. You have to be, you know, takes a while. I
Yeah.
said, I'm not. I said, who did it the fastest? What's the shortest time someone ever done it?
Yeah.
It's 6 months. I said, I'm gonna do it in 4.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
I did it in 4. But I lived there. I'm telling you, if I wasn't at the barbershop, the blessing was it was around the corner from the barbershop.
Dope.
So when I didn't have a client, I was there. I mean, by myself, midday, whatever. So um, he asked, he was like, "Yo, you move really good for big dude, and you know, I applaud your tenacity." He was like, you want to be on my stunt team?" I said, "Yeah, would you hell yeah,
Yeah.
of course I do." So that's what opened it up, man. And we were doing stuff for foreign countries, like stuff for Japan, for China, television shows, Chinese television shows. Um, it just kept rolling. Then my first big job was doubling Denzel in Safe House. It was like all the still photos
Dope.
of it. It's just from me being there. And
Yeah.
yeah, all any billboards or photos you see him running, jumping is me.
Mm.
So yeah, and it just and honestly, I kind of pushed away from stunts shortly after that because I was told that as an actor you don't want to be known as a stuntman.
So how do you feel about that now?
I'm mad as hell about it now because I should have just kept going
Mm.
because I would have had more credits and more money, right?
Yeah.
Friends who stayed in it, they, some of them are, they wanted to act also, and it's a little tougher, but we make, stunts. It pays pretty well,
Yeah.
and it keeps you consistently working on film set. So if you're not acting, you're doing stunts. So, and I've always wanted to be an action star anyway. So I
Right.
love doing stunts. I love it. So it's a huge blessing to be doing it more, back in it for the
Would
last 5 years. Huh?
Would you say that it does hurt you? Would you say
No,
that
nope, nope.
I was going to say the same thing. Like I don't see how it could, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on it because you do it. So
The only way I could think is they tell you casting directors look at stunt performers as you can't act because back in the day, still now some stuntmen is like, yo, no, I don't want no dialogue. We just want to be in the shadows, fall, get
yeah,
blown up or whatever, and that's it. But I hone my craft so well, so much. Like it's still they still keep it fairly separate. And honestly, my manager pitches me, and she's like, "Yo, he was just on this big movie as a stuntman, and that had me up for another big feature recently because they said we want an actor that can do stunts."
here you go. There you
Yeah.
go. That's dope. Got Jamal Dennis on Sam I Am Viral podcast exclusively on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all major online outlets, as well as Viral Hip Hop News YouTube membership. If you're not a member, go ahead and click that link at the homepage, Viral Hip Hop News. Click membership, find out how you can become a member and watch these videos as well as the audio. Definitely appreciate you. I'm gonna get you for a couple more minutes, man. I know you're a busy brother. I know we're about to hit the hour mark. I ain't gonna hold you too long, man. I appreciate you though, brother, sincerely. Um, Let me ask you this: what is some of the toughest parts of acting, whether it be acting itself, the preparation, the process, mental, whatever the case may be? What's the toughest side of acting to you? And then what's the most gratifying, if you don't mind me asking?
Ooh, the toughest side, not knowing,
Mm.
not knowing if you're going to book the job. I'm waiting here right now for something.
I'm sitting there trying not to look at my phone too, like set it and forget it, but I ain't forgetting shit. If I got this role or not, like damn. You know
For real, man.
what I mean?
Like, so not knowing when what film or TV show is going to be the one to really catapult your career. Um, Not knowing if you booked it, this one or that one, not knowing when you're getting the audition. Um, so that's when you got to know you learn to save and spend your money wisely and invest it.
Mm.
Because if you don't, like we had the strike, that was tough on everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
And I do this full time now, so everybody who does it full time, we felt it.
yeah.
So I think that's the toughest, but the most rewarding is being on set. The most rewarding is being immortalized on film. Well, especially when you have kids and your kids see you and you see they see their eyes light up. You see your family, your family members telling you, "Keep going. I'm proud of you."
Yeah.
You know, because you have naysayers that's telling you, "Oh man, you know, years ago, random people was like, oh, you gonna be an actor, really?"
Mm-hmm.
Because they believe, I don't know what they believe. They just think, I guess, every other actors come out of thin air or whatever. But having your family and your friends tell you keep pushing, and you always get it in that moment where you're like, man, I'm about to quit.
Mm.
I'm
Mm.
about to do something else. You
Mm.
feel me? Because you're frustrated over a role you didn't get, or whatever the case may be. You like, dang, I need some extra dope,
Yeah.
right? Whatever the case is. But that's the most rewarding. Being being on set, getting the word that you booked it, or getting word that we need you to get blown up today on
Yeah.
set.
That's the ain't that you I got emotional one time after seeing our movie. One time. And that was when the credits rolled. And I seen my name up there for the first time. And I had a whole bunch of Dela Santoses watching it with me. And the pride in their face, seeing their last name on screen and me having a small part to do with that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I want this feeling forever. This I want this forever. Like the movie was dope. The process was insane. We talked about it a million times. I had a ball on set. We had a ball on set, but to see my name up there and to watch my family, my daughter, my son, my cousins watch that, I was like, whew, whew. This shit makes you not want to quit. And this will be the last serious question I ask you before we get up out of here. Because you kind of talked about it. You hinted on just a little bit just now. Talk about that moment where you wanted to quit. Where you said, I'm at my wits. I've tried. The bills are getting too heavy. I need to fucking whatever the case may be. Talk about that moment where it was like, I'm about to be done with this. And what broke you out of that and what kept you moving?
Which one?
Oh God, ain't that the truth? Which time, dog?
Yo, so funny enough, I I pretty much did quit.
Mm,
I took a job in Texas in 2014, went corporate,
yep.
and I was like, all right. You see everybody online, all your friends, they got their big houses. You know, LA, you're not getting no big house when they're paying for their houses. You're getting
Hell no.
a matchbox, right?
Yeah.
So um, I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Gave it a shot, and told my agents, don't send me out for anything for 3 months. And I lost momentum because I had just did a series called Zoo. Then I did NCIS, and was up for another role. I had a producer session, and I didn't go in for it because I had to start my job.
Mm,
Yeah, I remember that. And it was like a big feature. And it was a casting director that had already booked me on a film with Ryan Reynolds.
mm,
So I was like, okay, she called me in for a producer session, which is like, pretty much a callback with the producers. Meaning you just gotta do what you did and they're gonna book you. So I, I learned to live with that. But I would say realizing that at the company I was working at, I was just another number around month 3 after the probationary period ended. And I was like, yo, I prayed. I was like, God, if I'm supposed to be in the film industry, show me if I'm not taking the desires away. And it got stronger and stronger. And I read this book by T.D. Jakes called Destiny. As I'm feeling like this life in the corporate life wasn't for me, and I I booked. I did that and got called to do Roots stunts on Roots, and I called in sick. And first of all, I turned it down. They were like, "Oh, you got to come audition." I was like, "I'm not coming."
mm.
And then the day they called me, I was walking in the movies to watch my film with Ryan Reynolds, with me and Ryan Reynolds. And I was like, oh, I can't do it. And I left there and I was like, I should have went. Then 2 days later they called, was like, well, we don't need you to audition, just come work.
Mm.
And when I got on set, I was like, I forgot. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is it. This is my life. No matter how hard it is, I gotta fight, and I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win at this. However, God has it meant for me to win. My version of winning, being a full time actor, stunt performer, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So that taught me right there. You
Yeah,
know.
and if you don't realize God is real, it's those moments like that where you kind of you question everything, and then you just get a sign or you get this moment, and it's you in that moment, and you realize this is somebody letting me know this is where the fuck I need to be. You know, I had a conversation with Ali last week, and I was asking him how he like decided to get out of his 9 to 5 and really pursue producing and directing full time. He said he got fired from his job. And
Mm-hmm.
at that moment in time, he asked God, he said, God, if I'm supposed to be doing this, give me a sign. He would listen to church on Sundays with his wife, his family, they would listen to church. And he said that this pastor came out and said, God just told me to say this. I don't know who I'm saying it to, but God told me to say this. He said, do it. And he said he got a
Mm-hmm.
tear in his eye because he realized that at that moment, God was talking to him. And I think we all had these moments, whether you believe in a higher power or not, where something or someone is speaking to you. And it's up to you to open your ears and listen and then take that and go with it. Because we all have, like, especially with this acting shit, we started off saying it's not for the weak. We're going to end off saying it's not for the weak. But if it's in you, you better go get that shit because ain't nobody going to give it to you and nobody's going to get it for you. And the results are your dreams coming true, man. So never stop and never give up, man. And I just want to let you know, Jamal, that you've always been the last couple of years that I've had a pleasure of knowing you and being your brother, man. You've always given me that inspiration on knowing, like, yo, you may not get all the auditions. Yeah, you gave your all in that one audition, you didn't get it, but keep fucking going. Just keep going, keep grinding. Move on to that next audition. Get better, get better. And I applaud you and I appreciate you, that brother, sincerely. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Nah, no doubt, bro. So we about to get up out of here, man. Get up out of this sappy ass episode. Say my Environment podcast with my brother Jamal Dennis. Now it's been a pleasure, man. I definitely appreciate, and I know the people are going to appreciate if you, like you said, if you are inspiring acting, singing, if you want to be a teacher, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're just trying to be a better person, we gear these platforms, these podcasts around just hearing other people's stories, people that are doing it, and realizing that, hey, you ain't the only one out here struggling. You're not the only one out here that thought about quitting. You're not the only one out here that thought about giving up. Mind over matter, baby. Mind over matter. So before we get up out of here, Jamal, like I said, I appreciate you. If you have anything you want to say, let the people know. Also, make sure that you give your social media handle. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got coming up.
All right, my social media is the Jamal Dennis, TheeJamalDennis. What I have coming up next, I'm supposed to be playing Rayful Edmonds in this series. So
Yeah.
working on that, you know what I mean? So that's what's coming up. That's gonna be a good big one. That's gonna be a big one. That's a blessing. And yeah, just whatever you learn from your journey, whatever your journey is, take that and help somebody else. Because your journey may not be that easy because it's meant for you to go through this to help the next person. Theirs easy, make theirs a little easier.
Yeah. I appreciate you for making mine just a little bit easier, brother. He's a man of his word. Jamal Dennis, Sam I Enviro podcast. We're going to have him on again real soon. I appreciate you, brother. Keep doing the damn thing. Keep killing it out here, man. And I'm going to be one of your biggest supporters as always, brother.
Same here, my brother.
Salute, man.
Sir, all love.